The Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, joins us live right here on this Monday following Conference Championship weekend and 13 days away from the biggest football game of any NFL season, Super Bowl Sunday. Dr. Chow, as always, we appreciate the time bright and early on a Monday. Looking forward to Super Bowl 59 and how both teams will use this additional week of rest to get ready for the biggest game of a season.
Yeah, well, live from surgery, as you can see, sort of. I'm not, the patient's getting put to sleep here, but they're not waiting for me.
Listen, a man that backs up what he is talking about live on air. Dr. Chow, of course, one of the big stories entering Conference Championship Sunday, the health of Phillies quarterback Jalen Hurts dealing with the injury to his left knee. He was wearing a brace pregame right before they got started, and the Eagles took the field for the first time offensively as they shared on the broadcast. That brace did come off. You watched Jalen Hurts yesterday, 3 rushing touchdowns, but not a ton of yardage. Did throw for nearly 250, 4 total touchdowns in the game. But in terms of his mobility, his health, his effectiveness, how did Philadelphia's quarterback look to you?
About what we thought, that, he was definitely playing, but he's definitely not 100%. And he could run, especially straight ahead, but perhaps not as dynamic. He was mobile, but I don't know that he was dynamic in typical self, right? I mean, his rush yards were way under what his typically would be. And he threw the ball pretty well. And I think they had a good game plan, Kellen Moore. Obviously hard not to have a good one when Saquon does what he does with his first couple of touches, and mixed it up pretty well. And obviously very successful, putting up 55 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Doc, take a look at the game yesterday. I was on my ride home, and the inactives were going to be big because Cam Jurgens was having issues with his back. Worked out in the field, and I'm sure you're part of many of these conversations. They all huddled around the general manager of the teams, and he was made active but wasn't going to start. What do you think the issue was with Cam Jurgens? And also, what are some of the medications that you could possibly give to a player where he can play, and also understanding what it means to be inactive and not playing on game day due to that back injury?
Yeah, and that's a good topic. But the final thing on Jalen Hurts is I never thought it was like a ligament structural injury. That's why the brace maybe make him feel better. I don't know that it was completely necessary, so it didn't really surprise me he took the brace off. It probably made him feel more dynamic. As far as Cam Jurgens is concerned, there's no video. It was a back issue. And, obviously he was on the active roster. So he was able to play, but, they thought they had a better shot with Dickerson until he got hurt. And he came in and played reasonably well. And, I always speak about the magical healing powers of the extra week before the Super Bowl. And look, the Eagles have seen it before, with Terrell Owens and his fractured ankle, so to speak. So Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, they get a little extra time in special healing.
And the Eagles have been one of the best offensive lines, Doc, all season long around the NFL. So the additional week of rest for Cam Jurgens. He should be back as the starting center for Super Bowl 59. And to his side, Landon Dickerson, of course, one of the best interior offensive linemen in the National Football League, injured his knee. It is what Cam Jurgens was forced to do coming back into the football game. What is the prognosis for Landon Dickerson? How do these teams use the additional week of rest and the long layoff entering a Super Bowl?
Well, Landon Dickerson has torn both his ACLs in his past. And right now we're searching through some additional video to see exactly what it is. And that'll give us a better prognosis on whether he can come back. But I would lean towards yes, given that it's 2 weeks and given that it's the Super Bowl right now. And, this is where the Eagles made a smart decision, keeping Cam Jurgens active just in case, so to speak. So, we'll see how it goes, but I think it's a reasonable chance that he will come back and play.
Doc, I want to talk briefly here about the Buffalo Bills, who did get eliminated yesterday, but you saw Christian Benford, another concussion, just getting cleared off of one. Now, he has a long off season, certainly, to get healthy as he can be. But talk about, let me say, if he gets concussions close together, if the Buffalo Bills had won, would he be automatically out for the Super Bowl in 2 weeks? And how do you usually take a look at those prognoses?
Well, if it were a normal situation, he would automatically be out for a month, and that would include the Super Bowl. Now, is there some extra Super Bowl pressure and this, that, the other? And you can't judge. You have to look at each case individually. But the rule of thumb is 2 concussions concurrently very close together, you're out for at least a month. I mean, we saw Tua out for a month just with the single concussion. We saw Chris Olave out for the rest of the season with concussions 2 weeks apart. So, yes, he would have, in theory, missed anyways.
So, Dr. Chow, one of the great things about what you and your team do at Sports Injury Central and the work you will find at SICScore.com, SICScore.com, is the individual SIC score for each player out of 100. We always talk, he might be 80% ready to go or 90% effective in the game. With the additional week of rest for Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia's quarterback, what do you estimate his SIC score will be come 13 days from now on Super Bowl Sunday in New Orleans?
Well, he was in the yellow category. Different points of the week, he was 79 to 82 on our scale there. And I think that's about what he played. But he's going to be at least in the high 80s at this point in time from what we call yellow to maybe green-yellow with slight caution. But he should be okay to go. The other interesting thing, there's rumors out there that Brandon Graham can come back and play and be his final game as an Eagle going off of the Super Bowl. That's a pretty tight timeline. Triceps tear with surgery a little over 2 months ago. I don't know that I see him being able to hold off blocks and shed blockers or be that effective, but we'll see. I mean, a lot of rumors he's going to get activated off of IR. Well, why not? Open up his practice window, create the excitement and the illusion. And it doesn't cost you a roster spot anyways until you actually activate him off IR. You're just going to open up his practice window and see what happens. That'll be great if you can, but I'm a little dubious. And Saquon's calf shouldn't be a big issue.
Yeah. Thank you for all of that information, Doc. No doubt to have BG back in the Super Bowl prep for Philadelphia, one of the leaders of that franchise. Dr. Chow, as always, thank you so much.